Hey, Warrior Saints. Glad to have you beautiful people with us as we continue our conversation from yesterday. So maybe, I don't know, what if we turned our attention? I mean, we all know it. Everyone watching us or listening to us right now knows that if you make a commitment, you got to stick to it. I mean, you see the biblical examples in the Noahs and the Abrahams and the Pauls and, of course, the Lord himself. But putting that into your life and my life, right? I mean, my, 5.5 months of running every day and lifting every day, how do we, I mean, that's great, but how do we do it in, the things that matter? I was thinking we'd go through maybe spend the next few minutes and just talk through some big ones, right? The plan we talked about was God, church, relationships, and word, your word. So, I mean, thinking about it, like how many of us commit to God and don't commit truly and follow through by living that crucifixional life, right?
Right.
Like, how do we, and maybe, I mean, we don't have any plan for this other than just as the Spirit so wills and moves us. Let's just talk about what does it mean when we say I commit to God, I'm a warrior saint, I'm becoming a Christian, and the requisite action and duties and responsibilities that go with it.
Great question.
Well,
but I mean, I think that's literally, it's a great question because I think you touched on exactly where I was going to ask a follow-up. What does it mean to actually commit to God? I mean, we see in our baptismal services in the Orthodox Church and the Chrismation service what that commitment is called to be. We see in the 28th chapter of Matthew, like the very, very end of his gospel, Christ's commissioning links that baptism to being taught. So I think at the very minimum, commitment means that we're following God's commandments, right?
Yeah.
He says to the disciples, go baptize all nations, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all I've commanded you. So first and foremost, commitment to God means that we are following all that he has commanded. So then we have to back that up and see what has he commanded, which is to love God and love neighbor, right? Or love God by loving neighbor.
Yeah.
Then we got to go out and do it. So what does that look like?
I think it starts with the crucifixional life. I mean, as you said a few minutes ago, it's the sacrifice of it's sacrifice. To be committed means there's inevitably will be sacrifice to that which you have committed. If you have committed to God, you have entered a war that will rage against yourself, within yourself. It's that ego. It's the war within. And as you said, like from the beginning in the garden, I mean, the ego and the self-preservation and all those things you were talking about. I mean, there it is. Most of the time, God's will is asking me to love other first. And most of the time, my will is asking me to love me first, right? And so there's a rub.
Yeah.
So at some point we have to sacrifice something, the love of myself or the love of other. And if we choose one, we're doing God's will. If we choose the other, you know what I mean? We're not committed.
Right. We're doing our will.
Yeah.
And it's hard because we want to preserve ourselves. We want to do those things. So I think then the first step to figuring out if we're following and actually living our commitment to God then is we have to ask ourselves in situations, which will am I serving in this moment?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a cheesy question, but it's something that we can actually put into practice. We could actually, there's an interesting prayer. My mother sent it to me during my very last semester of seminary when I was at my angriest. I used to have breakfast with one of the seminary professors every Friday. It wasn't for me. It was for the sake of everyone around me because I was becoming quite a bear. But she sent me the prayer of St. Philaret of Moscow, and it was the first time I'd actually read it. And there is a line in there, teach me to do your will, pray yourself in me. And it's weird, but that pray yourself in me line, as I hear it, is give me the strength, Lord, to do what I don't want to do because following your will is extremely difficult.
Yeah. All right. Nice.
I mean, it's nice. It's trite. It's cute. But it's something that we have to start with that question then. Which will am I serving?
Yeah.
Am I serving myself? Am I serving others?
Yeah.
Am I serving God's will? Am I serving my will?
Yeah. Now look, here's a fun part about it. It's easy in some moments, right? Like I notice when new people convert to the Orthodox Church, of which obviously we're a part and servants of, or serving in, they're hot and high and ready to go and on fire. And, sometimes that zeal wanes a little bit.
Mhm.
But it's exciting in the moment. But I think God has given us a bigger mission, a longer mission. So there's some longevity there. He's not like commitment doesn't just love the moment; it loves the mission. If I can be cheesy,
Yeah, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
yeah. I mean, you got to get in and get after it. And here, the other part in loving God, it will inevitably be difficult. There will be moments when it is horrible. So it made me think of a horrible. I don't mean to sound terrible as North Americans who are so blessed and lucky that most of our life is not terrible, but hard moments, difficult moments when the evil one is, doing his dance and making it difficult, horrible for us. There's a great story. We've talked about it before. A 6th century monk in Palestine named Abba Dorotheos. And the young monk comes to him and says, Abba, why is the devil making war against me, right? He's waging war against me. I want to be with Christ. I don't understand why he's fighting with me. To which the old man replies, the fact that you are being made war against is a sign that you are first making war. So, beautiful if you think about it. In other words, you started it, right? You decided to fight with the devil and he's going to bring it. And so being committed it requires that sacrifice, that when it gets hard and when it gets frustrating and when there are the temptations of life out there, like, to live a Netflix, subscription service, try it for free 30 days and then cancel lifestyle. You've got to stay strong, true, because you're committed. You're in, right?
You have to be vigilant.
Yeah.
You have to keep watch in the middle of the night. You have to guard the walls. You have to be, I mean, the oath of the night's watch. Night's watch?
Yeah.
The wall in Game
GOT,
of Thrones. Yeah. Like they are the men of the watch. They are the watchers in the night. They're the ones staying vigilant. They're always, someone is always on lookout. Someone is always making sure. We have to do that. No one's going to do that for us. We have to be vigilant for ourselves to ensure that we maintain that commitment to God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anticipate that it's going to be hard. I was talking last night with, this is an interesting one, and particularly when we're committing ourselves to God. We had a Bible study with our women last night, and we were talking about, when you fail, the temptation is to quit. And so I said to him, I said, look, I get it. I used to do that. Like, because I'm a streak guy, right? Like I'm OCD and I love streaks. And if I break the streak, I feel miserable. Like, just the way my brain works. And so when the streak was broken, I used to quit. But then I was like, no, it's going to happen. The struggle to the things, for the things that I've committed to, it's inevitably coming. So draw a plan, 10 steps to get from where I am to attain the goal that I want. And what I started doing was making step 4 failure. So that it was in the process. It was expected, it was anticipated, it was allotted for, it was prepared for, and I knew that it wasn't step 10. So that meant there were 6 more steps after it. And then, whatever. Step 5 would be the get up again process so that I could keep going. And when I started to think like that, I was a little bit more able to deal with my commitments and to stay, true to them, because I knew I wasn't going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect save Christ alone, right? I don't know why I was even fooling myself in the first place, but that's just how, like I said, the brain works that way, and it is what it is. And so anyways, all of that rambling before we shift, I guess we can say, in order to commit to God, you got to realize it is the life of the cross. It is a Christic, cross-centered lens that we have to look at the world at. You know what I mean? That's how it works. We call it being crucifixional, which is an imitation of Jesus Christ, who was willing to commit to God's plan and God's will so much that he gave his life, and he did so in a horrible fashion. And St. George, who followed him, and Paul and all the rest, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you want it, sacrifice is coming, right?
Yeah. If you want it, you got to get out there and do it. Knowing that the sacrifice is coming allows you to prepare for it so that it doesn't come as a shock, doesn't catch you unawares.
It helped me for sure.
It definitely does. And
Hey, Warrior Saints, thank you so much for being with us. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and share. It helps us get the word out there. And if you want more, visit us at warriorsaints.org and subscribe to Understanding the Bible. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.